The question was, do I fear not fitting in the norm? I think it's just the other way around. For me, I fear more that I'm going to be stuck fitting in the norm. That's always my bigger fear. But I think it's a futile effort to face that particular agenda than to go and find your voice. It's exhausting trying to be something that is, for example, I have decided that I'm going to be outside the box, I'm going to be extravagant. It becomes exhausting to do that. So my feeling is, when I made a decision to make these candles, I found my voice in areas of the product development, the customer service, the fragrance, aromas, descriptions, and so on, where I felt that I can be true to myself first, right? You have to find you so that everyone understands you, so that when they do understand you, the people who like what they hear, the customers who like what you're doing, are the ones who are gravitating to you, and they are super loyal to you because of what you do. It's not necessarily being outside of the norm, inside the norm. In my particular case, when I design my visuals and I focus on my customer service, or when I create a bouquet of fragrance notes and bouquet of aromas, ultimately, it has to work for my agenda. Because the minute I'm able to identify and execute against my agenda is the minute that the person who doesn't agree with me disappears, and the person who agrees with me or loves what I do, they come to the brand. Now, was this meant to be mainstream? Do I fit the norm? The question was, do I fear not fitting the norm? I fear fitting the norm more than anything else, honestly. I really fear fitting the norm. The norm lives here. I either have to, you have to make a decision. Do you live here underneath the norm or above the norm? I happen to choose, which works for me, is living above the norm. I want to live above the norm. I want to live above where it's normal for someone to say, I'm going to go to a big box store, and I'm going to go ahead and test, let's say you go to Home Goods, which I love Home Goods, for a lot of reasons, because they execute their agenda very well. But the aromas are down here. The bouquet of fragrances that's being developed for that area, where it's a $10 item, by nature is an impossibility to be creative. It's an impossibility. So does this live outside the norm? I never intend to be really focused outside the norm. What I do is I say, hey, this is a beautiful visual. A candle at the end of the day has to have a significant presence at home. It really does. What do? 95% of the time, a candle is doing absolutely nothing. It's just either sitting on the counter, not performing, or going in a cupboard. And then when you're ready to have your emotional ritual, right? It's an emotional ritual. Why is it an emotional? You want to meditate, turn a candle on. You want to relax, you turn a candle on. You want to feel clean, you turn a candle on. You want to focus, you turn on. Of course, this is my broken English. You light a candle. I know, because I know I'm going to get these comments. I'm going to light a candle. But ultimately, we have two reasons to have a candle in the house. One is for it to look beautiful, and the other one is to enhance the fragrance experience that you are beginning to create an attachment for a particular emotion. Let me slow down here. When we want to meditate, for example, we bring out the Buddha candle. It's in Palo Santo. Either we're doing yoga, we're meditating, we're being spiritual, we're doing soul cycle. Anything that's spiritual, it is normal to bring out the Buddha in Palo Santo. There's a certain feeling when you want to light this candle, for instance, that promotes a certain emotion. Repetitiveness will do that. So when I'm asked, do I want to live in the norm or outside the norm? It is not my agenda to live in the norm or outside the norm, but I happen to be outside the norm. I happen to be on the fringe of exploring creative fragrances that are not your common fragrance. So we all have these moments when we're gonna light a candle and we wanna feel a certain thing, a certain emotion, right? You wanna read a book, you light a certain type of candle. So these are very personal things, but as a brand, what do? This is where it gets interesting. I have a personality, people. I'm a human being. At the end of the day, this candle is built by a person. And this person has a history of ways of doing things. So the reason I do it this way, this is the Monte Cristo collection, for example. The Monte Cristo collection is meant to be a story about Dante, who was deceived, betrayed, went to jail, rose from the dead, and conquered, became a mayor of Monte Cristo. So which means that inherently the fragrances are going to be dark. They're going to be rich, they're going to be smoky, they're going to be earthy, they're going to be musky. Yet we have the black tea, white tea, which is the silver Monte Cristo. Then we have the rose and with cardamom, which is the white Monte Cristo. Then we have the Dante, which is like the no-nonsense Monte Cristo, which is hard and woody, grimy bass notes. Then we have this, which is the Maximilian, which is more perfumey, more masculine, more refined, more sort of past the stage of that where you're going through your hell in life and then you've become a confident person. So to answer the question, do I want to fit the norm or not? Not applicable for me. It really, I don't believe it's applicable. What I do know is that ultimately there is a way, not a need, a way to execute the vessel, the presentation. There is a way to execute the bouquets, and then there is a way to treat the customer. So on all these fronts, I have made a decision to live at the edge. What does at the edge mean? It's like, you know, when you have a car, a normal car will drive, you know, will have a top speed of 140 miles an hour. A sports car is going to have a top speed of 210 miles an hour. It costs more, it feels better, it drives different, it has a different emotion towards it. All these little things do matter. We're all human. At the end of the day, my needs, your needs, accomplishments, conquers, challenges, failures, all of that has become a part of our personal life. But the question is, how do you represent that in your four walls? Look, at the end of the day, personal wars are fought outside the house. But then once you come into the house, this is where you curate your moment. Is it at the end of the day where you're ready, you come home, you take your shower, you have your dinner, you light a candle, you dim the lights, you put a TV on, you look on your Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you want to entertain yourself, or you read a book? What fragrance trains your mind to feel that way? That's really the ultimate question, right?